Welcome to Global Trends. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Welcome back. Today, we're exposing a quiet but powerful shift in global trade that could reshape the economic landscape. For decades, the US was the world's top trade partner, but now Canada is overtaking the US as the primary partner for 11 major countries. This isn't just about numbers, it's about influence, strategy, and a changing world order. We'll break down how Canada is making these moves and what it means for American power. Let's dive in. Let's start with Mexico, where the US has always been the dominant trade partner, until now. Canada has surged ahead in key sectors like automotive parts, agriculture, and finance, thanks to aggressive business strategies and government support. The USMCA opened new doors, but Canada seized the opportunity, offering stability and competitive pricing. Now Mexican factories source from Ontario, and investors look to Toronto over New York. This isn't just a blip, it's a strategic realignment. Trade disputes and tariff uncertainty from the US pushed Mexico to diversify, and Canada stepped in as the reliable alternative. The result? Canada is redrawing North America's economic map, challenging the US's long-held dominance. It's a masterclass in economic diplomacy. In China, US trade wars and tariffs created an opening, and Canada moved fast. As US exports faced barriers, Canadian goods like soybeans, canola, and tech components filled the gap. China now relies on Canada for resources and technology, reducing its dependence on the US. Canada's neutrality makes it an attractive partner, allowing it to capture market share once held by America. This shift weakens US leverage and complicates the power dynamic between Washington and Beijing. Canada's rise as a key supplier shows how middle powers can reshape global competition. The US can no longer assume its economic pressure will have the same effect. After Brexit, the UK needed new trade partners, and Canada was ready. Canada quickly secured a trade continuity agreement, then pushed for a deeper deal, outpacing the US. Canadian businesses now thrive in UK finance, agri-food, and tech, leveraging shared language and legal systems. The US-UK deal stalled, leaving a vacuum Canada filled. Now Canada is a top non-EU partner, subtly reducing the US's indispensability in Britain's post-Brexit strategy. It's a missed opportunity for the US and a big win for Canada. The Commonwealth connection paid off. Germany, Europe's economic powerhouse, is turning to Canada for energy and critical minerals. As Germany phases out nuclear and Russian gas, Canada's natural gas and hydrogen are becoming vital. Canadian mining firms now supply key minerals for Germany's electric vehicle industry, bypassing US suppliers. The partnership extends to AI and tech, where shared values on privacy and ethics set Canada apart from US tech giants. Canada is embedding itself in Germany's economic future, not just as a supplier but as a strategic partner. This deep integration challenges US influence in Europe's biggest economy. Canada's long-term play is paying off. Japan's trade landscape changed when the US left the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Canada stayed in, helping form the CPTPP, and now enjoys preferential access to Japan's market. Canadian beef, wheat, and LNG are surging, while US goods face higher tariffs. The CPTPP advantage extends to tech and resources, making Canada a go-to partner. Canada and Japan, both middle powers, are building a bloc for free trade and stability in the Indo-Pacific. The US is now playing catch-up, while Canada reaps the rewards. This is a textbook case of how multilateral deals can shift global trade. Canada's early commitment is paying off. South Korea's dynamic economy has long favored the US, but Canada's early free trade deal changed the game. Canadian exports, beef, seafood, minerals, and LNG, are booming, and tech partnerships are growing. Canada supplies the raw materials and energy that power Korea's industries. Tech collaboration is rising with joint ventures in AI and innovation. Strong cultural ties and a vibrant Korean-Canadian community grease the wheels of commerce. Canada has carved out a significant niche, proving it can compete where the US once dominated. Nimble diplomacy and early action made the difference. Canada's deep cultural and linguistic ties with France, plus the CETA trade deal, have shifted the balance. Canadian goods now enter France tariff-free, outcompeting US products. Aerospace, agri-food, and digital services are key sectors where Canada is gaining ground. Quebec's French heritage makes business seamless, giving Canada a unique edge. Canadian and French supply chains are integrating, often excluding US firms. The US remains important, but Canada is now the preferred North American partner in many areas. Culture and smart trade policy are Canada's secret weapons. Brazil, Latin America's giant, is turning to Canada for stability and partnership. Canadian firms supply vital fertilizers and agri-tech, helping Brazil boost its farming sector. Aerospace and infrastructure ties are growing, with Canadian investment flowing into Brazil. Canada's steady diplomatic engagement contrasts with the US's more transactional approach. As a result, Canada is steadily increasing its influence and trade volumes in Brazil. It's a quiet but significant shift in the Americas. India's booming economy is a prize for any trading nation. While the US struggles to finalize a trade deal, Canada is building ties through education, investment, and food security. Indian students flock to Canada, creating lasting business and cultural links. Canadian pension funds invest billions in Indian infrastructure and tech. Trade impulses and tech collaboration is growing, even without a formal deal. Canada's multifaceted approach is making it a key partner as India rises. The US is still strategizing, Canada is already there. Australia and the US are close allies, but Canada is making economic inroads. The CPTPP has boosted Canadian exports and investment in Australia, especially in mining and infrastructure. Canadian and Australian firms collaborate across resources and services, strengthening both economies. They align diplomatically, advocating for fair trade and pushing back against coercion. Canada is now an equally important and sometimes more advantageous partner for Australia. Even among allies, trade flows are shifting. As US-Saudi ties grow tense, Canada is stepping in. Canadian firms are helping Saudi Arabia diversify its economy, from building futuristic cities to developing mining and healthcare. Canada's expertise and political neutrality make it a preferred partner for Vision 2030 projects. Canadian mining and tech companies are finding big opportunities in the kingdom. As the US hesitates, Canada is capturing new growth in the Middle East. It's a clear example of how global shifts create openings for agile players. Across 11 countries, Canada is quietly reshaping global trade. This isn't about undermining the US, it's about smart strategy, multilateral deals, and building trust. The era of automatic US dominance is over. Competition is fierce and multipolar. For the US, it's a wake-up call: adapt, engage, and innovate, or risk losing influence. Canada's rise is a lesson in 21st century economic statecraft. The world is changing. Ignoring it is not an option. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.